everyone, good afternoon. Christine Burke here from Ignite Your Inner Bliss. And just sitting here beside my sunny window about to write a blog article. And I thought I would jump in here and talk about something that I needed to drop. And it might be something that you also need to drop. And so I'm going to go ahead and share this with you, and I think you're going to get value from it. So what I'm talking about dropping is my self-defeating story. And so, the title of this live and this article is going to be, why I decided to drop my self-defeating story and how it started to change my life. And so here's the deal. So 5 years ago, I was overweight. I was feeling totally unmotivated in my life. I was a mom with 3 kids, and I loved being a mom. I chose to be a mom, but I really had very little inspiration in my life beyond being a mom. And I started to think about, when my kids got older, what was I going to do to contribute to our family income? Now, I've got a master's degree in environmental science, always worked in this area, and had a great career before I had kids, but I didn't want to go back on that. I wanted to stay at home. But again, I was in a place of ill health, and I was in a place of just not knowing where I wanted to go in my life. So if you're a woman and you're in your 40s and you're a mom, you might be able to relate to some of that. So I had this self-defeating story that was basically something that I would tell myself over and over again, that I was a mom. I'd never been a business woman. I'd never been in a corporate environment per se. And how was I, a mom of 3 kids, going to build an empire and be able to sustain and build and sustain a financial legacy for our family? And that was my self-defeating story. I really wasn't able to see myself doing this. And I think this is somewhere where a lot of people get stuck, is they have a story that they tell themselves, and the story is maintained and fed by certain people around them, and people get stuck there in that self-defeating story. So I never really saw myself as somebody who could be in this kind of position, right? So why did I decide to give that up? And there's a few reasons for that, and that is I realized that I had a vision inside of me that was bigger than me. It was bigger than me, and it was bigger than my kids and my husband and my family. It actually went beyond my immediate environment, and I could see that, and I wasn't quite clear on exactly what it was down to the finite detail, but I knew that there was a vision that I had that transcended my immediate environment, my kids and my family. And that was a big deal, because I was so fiercely committed to being a full-time mom. So secondly, I realized that this lack of motivation and inspiration, things that I weren't doing, were not serving anyone. They were not serving me setting an example for my kids. They weren't serving our household income. They weren't serving anyone. It just wasn't serving anyone. So then I realized that there became a point in my life where I realized that I had to make shit happen. I had to do something, because I didn't want to give up being a mom, but on the other hand, I had this vision burning inside of me to do something bigger, to become something bigger than I was at the time. And if you have a vision like that, if you have a burning desire to move from where you are now into something bigger so that you can be more, you can give more, you can have more, you can live a bigger life, then kudos to you, and keep going and keep searching. So what did I do? What was it that allowed me to get through this process? Well, the first thing is I lost weight. I lost weight. I got healthy and I cleaned my insides. And that was a huge, huge thing because I really believe that health is the foundations of everything. So in other words, in plain language, if you're feeling like crap in here, you're going to feel like crap up there. And you won't be able to think straight and you won't be able to get clarity and emotional energy and vision and vitality and all of that. You just won't. So that was the first thing that I did. The second thing I did was I started to train my body quite fiercely. I gave up a lot of the cardio junkie lifestyle I was living before and really started to get physically strong in the gym. Now, you're probably wondering, what the heck does that have to do with serving my vision? Well, it does. And Richard Branson, at some point, I can't remember, it was an article I was reading the other day, was asked what was the most important part of being an entrepreneur and being successful in business and in life. And his answer was exercise, okay, and moving your body. So that was a huge deal. So 1 and 2, right? Number 3 was I found a vehicle. Now, I'm not talking about an automobile vehicle. I'm talking about a way to take that burning desire and that vision to fruition, right? Because there's lots of different ways of doing that, right? There's lots of different ways of doing that. But I was lucky enough to find a vehicle that was going to make it very simple for me and gave me a lot of leverage and ability to leverage my time, leverage my efforts, and leverage and capitalize on 1 and 2, right? My health transformation and my training. So I did those 3 things, and they really allowed me to take the first step in an entrepreneurial journey, to take the first step to move closer to my vision and my dreams. But here's the deal. I had to give up that self-defeating story. I had to just give it up and build a new story, right? And that is where a lot of people get stuck, as I said at the beginning, they get stuck in the self-defeating story, but it's not serving. It's not serving anyone. So my challenge to you is to think about, first of all, whether are you carrying around a self-defeating story? And if you are, what is it? Because the first step is always to acknowledge and take notice of things in your life that aren't serving you. So if you have a self-defeating story, what is it? And the second thing is, what are you going to do to change it? What are you prepared to do to change it? That's always the first step, because being prepared to do certain things is an important distinction. You know, what you could do and what you're actually prepared to do. So do you have a self-defeating story? If you do, what is it? And what are you actually prepared to do to change it? And just to, to make it more meaningful for you, have a think about, who else is suffering from this self-defeating story? Who else is seeing the results of this self-defeating story? So who in your life is it not serving? And then you can turn that around and think about who could you serve more powerfully if you change that self-defeating story to an empowering story. So I hope you got some value from that today. I'm going to write up a blog article now. You can come see me at christineburke.net. Lots of tips and lots of info and knowledge around the area of home business and doing what I do, which is absolutely awesome. So feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to connect. You come find me on Facebook, on my fan page, Ignite Your Inner Bliss, and we'll see you next time. See you guys.